All right, let's take you now to that live briefing where the Gauteng Transport MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela is briefing the media on the outcomes of the meeting held with SANTACO and the National Taxi Association. Let's go live now.
It's always like this, and I think all we'll spend the whole day here. But most importantly, let me also thank the leadership of Ekurhuleni to agreeing to meeting with us here in Tshwane today. And I must say that we have had a marathon of a meeting where different leaders were raising their issues as different leaders in different local associations that require attention. And maybe what is important to us is to apologize to those who have been inconvenienced by lack of service since yesterday and this morning. And we are happy that we have reached a settlement with the taxi industry in Ekurhuleni that they will resume services this afternoon and make sure that they provide the service. And importantly to us is to deal with the issues that they have raised. And amongst those issues is issues of how do we make sure that there's law and order within the public transport operations in our province. And we all are agreeing that law enforcement must do their work. We are happy that the government has listened to the cries of the industry when we experienced a surge of taxi violence killings that we experienced. However, there are teething challenges. There has been a gap of almost 20 years within roads and transport in Gauteng not having law enforcement. And as a result, the law enforcement unit that is on the ground is experiencing challenges, including the industry itself, not only the taxi industry, but public transport operators in our province. And obviously there are issues that the industry, that is public transport operators, both the taxi industry, the e-hailers, the scholar transport, the bus operators are experiencing. And some of those challenges have not been resolved by the Department of Roads and Transport. And we've set up a process that with this leadership at the provincial level we are dealing with. We are registering progress in some of the issues, and in some there's still a challenge to put systems in place. But there's commitment to ensure that we all go down to different associations to take them through how far are we with the work that the crisis committee has been doing. And chief amongst those is to deal with the pain that is operating licenses, not only in our province, but also a challenge that we have with the NLTIS system. We are happy that yesterday we met with the Minister of Transport as well as Minister of Police, Ntate Firoz Kachaliele Babra Krisi. And we are fortunate as Gauteng and as well as Gauteng taxi industry and public transport operators that the two have been leaders in Gauteng, and they understand some of the challenges because they are very old challenges. And there's determination on our side. Of course, yes, when you build a new relationship, there's always challenges, and we are determined to deal with the challenges that we are all faced with. And we are calling upon the members of public to give us an opportunity to deal with the challenges in public transport operations in our province. The second thing is we are calling on public transport operators that continue to perpetuate disputes and perpetuate conflicts and continue with the killings to please refrain from that. And we have called upon law enforcement to come and assist our province. And we are happy that the national government is giving us more support to resolve the issues that are related to taxi violence in our province. We will be coming down to different associations. We have set aside time to make sure that we go individually to different associations in our locals to deal with the issues. And while at that, we are finalizing, we have purified, we are in a process of purification of who is in the backlog. Is it true there's a backlog, and what is the backlog about? And part of that is the SABC program that we'll be doing together as Gauteng taxi industry, as well as with the Department of Roads and Transport and our municipalities as authorities that should concur in issuing of public transport licensing. So we will be down and working together with the officials who are we've put a unit together. We've even asked for the Premier to strengthen us by deploying 200 more officials to come and help us deal with what is perceived a backlog, which we are confident that in no time will be eradicated. We have finalized an automated system for applying for issuing of operating licenses. We also are busy with smart toll labs. We have established one in Maponya. We are working hard to make sure that all regions have an extra strength to assist in dealing with all the challenges related to operating licenses to public transport operators, not only the taxi industry. We also are happy that the minister has announced that next week she's issuing regulations for e-hailing. Unfortunately for us, we're supposed to meet with them, but we took longer in the meeting of Ekurhuleni. So to people of Ekurhuleni, please forgive us. And we also have raised the matter with the taxi industry. And I've seen individual associations here have called upon those who are perpetuating intimidation and bullying to stop bullying patrons and commuters. And we also are to establish a hotline for the individuals, commuters that are faced with, including motorists in our province that are faced with harassment from different people masquerading as the taxi industry in our province. So we are calling upon calm, and we are committed to making sure that there's free and fair and no one is discriminated from operating in our province. We also are to make sure that no one is harassed in their vehicles as private citizens who choose not to use public transport but choose a way of moving from one point to another. Of course, yes, it's not easy because as leadership here will commit, but what happens on the ground is totally a different thing, and we are putting measures in place to make sure that law enforcement help us identify those that are intimidating private citizens and take them to task. And we are saying to private citizens, if you are intimidated, harassed, and your car is taken from yourself, please report it as stolen so that police are able to come on the ground. And we really appreciate the commitment from the minister to assist us as Gauteng to deal with this challenge that we are faced with. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, MEC. I don't know whether we should take any word from yourselves, industry, Nopala of the province, NTA, Nopala of the province, SANTACO, Nopala. Awesome. Are you happy? Yeah. Okay. All right, maybe let's just take questions, colleagues. We do have the MEC together with her stakeholders, questions from yourselves, media. Maybe let's also just be standard, introduce yourself, the media house you come from, and then you shoot directly to questions. Yeah, come in.
Okay, from
yeah, if you can just also be audible.
I just wanted to check with the Taxi Association, SANTACO, are you happy with the discussion that you've had over the impounding of the vehicles? Have you gotten any guarantee as to what's going to happen with the process? Or is it still something that is ongoing that are going on now? So basically, are you satisfied with the answers that you received that has made you reach this decision?
All right, is that all? Okay, let's go. Question is posed to yourself.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for your question. This is a work in progress. We've discussed all the issues that led to the strike, and we have agreed that we will keep on interacting with the department through the MEC to resolve some of these issues. Yes, we've agreed that we are going to resume our operations as from this afternoon today, the 29th of August 2025. So in short, yes, most of the issues were tabled in front of the MEC, and we've agreed that we will work together going forward in resolving all the issues. In the question of impoundment of vehicles, obviously the law enforcement must work. We are a legal entity. We are operating legally. Our issue was about the operating licenses that the department is taking too long to issue to our operators. But through the engagement with the MEC, we've agreed that we need a mechanism to interact with the department in resolving those backlogs. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any follow-up?
Just as you can see, if you don't think that this backlog has contributed to most of the frustration, this is just failing the taxi industry as government, if you also admit that there have been these backlogs that have taken place. But they are saying that they're making up the applications, but it is you that is delaying as government to issue this permit.
Thanks, and that's why the commitment to the crisis committee. And I think I've been saying this, that for the longest time, there has not been a systematic and structured way of working in this area of work by the Department of Roads and Transport in Gauteng. And amongst others, as cited by the department, is that they have been waiting for the National Land Transport Information System. That is the system that's supposed to be implemented by National Department of Transport, and that has been a serious challenge. The other issue that I'm always talking about is that we have not been systematic, and the province allowed fraud and corruption to continue happening in this area of our work. There's also no clarity on the backlog that we continue to talk about it. When we were doing our verifications with the taxi industry as part of purifying the system, we found thousands and thousands of people in the backlog that no association, I'm just talking on minibus taxis, no association here knows. So we've got what we call the unknowns, people that we can't trace in the system, and the association do not know, meaning that those people submitted fake documentation from the associations themselves, and we're trying to look for them. Remember, we're a democratic government, we must look for them. They are not there, and that's why you always hear me asking, is there a backlog, and where is the hold up? And amongst others, as reasons when we started working on this, was that there are no municipal regulatory entities, and we made an interim measure through our to sit together with municipalities and do adjudication. And I can tell you now, for the last 25 days, there was no adjudication done because there are no documents to process. But then from time to time, when you check what the taxi industry have and what the department have, there's a huge disparity, including what the municipalities are having. So these three entities are sitting together to resolve one by one issues, and that's why we are at the stage where we want to then go on the ground to say, then can we see the people, the owners of the papers we have, and that's what we call the SABC process that we have. Of course, in the backlog, again, is the issues of gazetting. For us to can be able to issue an operating license, we must gazette your information as applicants, so that people who are against you having an operating license are able to do their objections. And that process on its own requires its own resources. So we are almost at the final stage of characterizing what is this backlog and owning up that there has been a serious mess and an unstructured way of working within Department of Roads and Transport in Gauteng, which we are correcting. We have finalized the automated system. We are now finalizing the final process that we must be taking to the crisis committee, that now we are going out to do a SABC. And one of the things that we have agreed that we do, we're going to do SABC where there are conflicts, where there are challenges, where there are disputes on duplication of permits, or conflicts on routes, or many other challenges that were faced that result in taxi violence. So there's that determination from our side. It's unfortunate that our communication here become too slow to go on the ground. What are you busy with in the crisis committee? And I think we need to improve, and that's what we raised with the industry here, the leadership of the industry, that we need to improve so that your constituency is aware of the work done and the plans that are in place. Of course, there's those with old operating licenses, compliant, law-abiding citizens, and taxi operators and other modes operators who try hard to be compliant, but because of the frustration of the system itself, then they are finding themselves not having proper papers. And we said we need to analyze those and be able to give them amnesty, but also help law enforcers to understand the different categories of people who are operating. And this does not rule out the illegal operators. We all agree that those who are illegal, who have never applied, who no one knows, and just go on the road and operate. And those are the people that we are saying to our law enforcers, please remove them, because they are creating problems, they are creating conflicts in the industry. And those that have old permits, please carry your old permits with you. You are not supposed to be impounded when you have an old permit, when you have a renewal slip to show that you are wanting to comply. And the hiccup might be in the three spheres of government. And we are automating the system. We are happy that National now is giving us that support to give us access to some of the information that is within RAS to make sure that we realize our new system. We had to benchmark with colleagues in KZN, I must say. They have better systems, and they initiated those systems as a province. And we felt that we can't wait more for the system from National, but rather do it ourselves and benchmarking with our colleagues in KZN. So we continue to benchmark from one another. The challenges in the taxi industry and the challenge in public transport operation in South Africa are too old, and we believe that we are too young to can continue failing the industry and failing public transport operations. There are beautiful ideas on the table, the talks with the minister on how we want to see public transport operation, especially here in Gauteng. We are trying to build the relationship. At the provincial level, it's very solid. We still need to work with our regional structures to bring them on board and go on the ground to local associations so that there's better understanding of how things are done. And that's why our plea to local associations, we have an open door policy. Don't get angry before you get to understand how far are the processes. And we have set ourselves that we need to go down, give feedback on the work that we've been doing through the crisis committee, update each and every association that we have. We are happy that Ntate Mnisi here, as the regional secretary of SANTACO in Ekurhuleni, is going to assist us with their 15 associations affiliated to them as Ekurhuleni, and the NTA through Ntate Mlalazi in Ekurhuleni will also help us with the 18 that they have as NTA, not only in Ekurhuleni. So it's in all these regions. So all these regions, all local associations have challenges with either ourselves or the municipality when they do law enforcement. But we're not saying law enforcement must not do their job. What we are saying is, let's try to be compliant. Where you know that you are compliant and it's the fault of government, come forward, we will assist you. It doesn't help for you to be emotional alone on the ground when we here have put a dispensation that those who are compliant and are law-abiding must be assisted. This does not mean unroadworthy cars will not be removed. We will remove them. This does not mean when you have not applied and tried to apply, we will not remove you. And we are warning those who are operating illegally to stop doing that, be it an e-hailer, lepela, or any other thing, as well as the taxi industry, to stop operating illegally. Try to legalize yourselves. We open a smart toll lab in Soweto. The numbers are so few. When we were told that there's around 2,000 people operating illegal, and we opened the center wanting to assist them. And the last time I checked earlier this week, only 49 people showed up. So it shows that there's lack of information sharing perhaps, or maybe less interest in formalizing and legalizing themselves. So we are calling upon everyone. We are also working towards building a very close-knit relationship with other modes of transport together with our taxi industry. I must say that they are willing and they have started and initiated in instances where relationship with different modes of transport, more especially the e-hailers. Tshwane is an example that Protea Glen, those who are operating there, they are an example of that good relationships. There's willingness from the side of e-hailers to work with the taxi industry, and the taxi industry also it's willing. So we are calling upon everyone who's still not understanding where we are, please come closer so that you understand where we are going and where we are taking public transport operations. It's not easy to be a leader, especially of an unstructured coalitions or organizations. And that's why we're trying to make sure that everybody is structured and everybody come to the drawing table. I am confident as an MEC responsible for this that very soon conflicts will be a thing of the past. Very soon illegal operation will be forgotten in Gauteng. Motorists will not be harassed as long as we are there, and there's the determination of all of us, including the industry. Private citizens will not be harassed, and those who want to continue this, and we're saying to public, please report. The department will soon be launching, and we are urging the association to also launch hotlines where private citizens can report the harassment, the bullying and intimidation that continues to happen. But I'm happy that the cases that I bring to your attention, you are able to hunt those who are giving you a bad name and deal with them, and we are encouraging citizens to continue reporting. I know that citizens in Gauteng have access to my cell phone number. You can get it. Please alert us, even if you drop a voice note on WhatsApp, even if you drop a message, we will still help you with the challenges you are faced with as private citizens, as motorists with the taxi industry, or those who are masquerading as patrollers on behalf of the taxi industry. No one has the right to stop you with your family and take out your children out of your vehicle. They too have children, and they too make means to take children or their family members to different points in this province and in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There were no further questions. Okay, let's take the last one.
My name is Petra for SABC News. My question is to SANTACO, and my question is, was this a one-man strike? Was this strike caused by one person? And it would seem, and did SANTACO as the mother body support this strike? And were the issues that were raised valid and to call on?
Thank you for the question. Yeah. No, it was not a one-man strike. It is a strike by the whole SANTACO as such, but Ekurhuleni came up with it. As SANTACO, we had talks amongst the whole region and all the provinces, and in the province, my apologies, that we wanted all to go on strike, but however we contained it, as in the other regions. But it just came too much for the Ekurhuleni region because they had quite a lot of impoundments and law enforcement was really nailing them as such. And that's one of the main reasons why Ekurhuleni region came up and they wanted to strike. This is not a unique backlog as in Ekurhuleni itself. It is across the province, in all the regions in Gauteng, we are experiencing the backlog of the operating licenses as such, and also they are attending to it as government, as the MEC has said. Let me just apologize to the commuters that has been inconvenienced, and we really apologize and we pass on our best wishes and for a speedy process to be taken quickly. So on that note, I would also like to say we will work alongside the MEC and the department to iron out all these issues as such on a speedy way. Thank you.
All right. I think it sums it up. Colleagues, thank you, MEC. Thank you to the leadership of the taxi industry in the province of Gauteng, both from SANTACO and GNTA. Particularly, thank you to the leadership of Ekurhuleni. Thank you to the people of Gauteng. We are here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose that is breaking news then, that all taxi services will resume in Ekurhuleni this afternoon. That's after hundreds of commuters in that part of the area in Gauteng were left stranded this morning and this afternoon following the taxi shutdown. As we've heard in that briefing also, that taxi operators were protesting over the backlog in the issuing of licenses and the impounding of their vehicles, which are said to be unroadworthy.